it's me, Galen. Galen's got Parkinson's. I'm going to play the battle. So I've allocated each of the armies a colour. The black, green and red. And then I threw dice, and the highest is activated first, and it turned out to be the Sea People. So the chaps we're looking at the moment are the Sea People's elite. My theory is that they are going to be most likely to activate, and they've also run into a swamp because they don't know the land. I diced at random what the terrain was and where it was, and then I diced at random where people arrived, and they've stumbled into a marsh. But then I tested for the weather, and it's very, very cold and icy, so the marsh is pretty much solid ice, so it's not too much of a problem to cross. So I throw 2d6, and I need, when I add them together, a 4, and I've got 12. Now this is double 6. Now this is where I've said in the previous setting up video I was going to do some little tweaks, and what I say is if a unit gets a double 6, it can opt for an extra move. It can go twice. If it gets a double 1, it gets stuck for a turn. It dithers or something like that. Obviously a commander, a senior general, the lord, or if there's a hero nearby, he can rethrow the dice and get them out of that situation quite quickly, you would hope. But double 6 means they're going to go twice, and they're going to go twice by making a double move. They're in the swamp, which would normally be a -6, but because it's icy, I throw a random dice, and it's a 3. So here we go. So it's -3. They normally go 6. 2 6s are 12. -3. They are going to move 9. Emerging from the swamp there, 3 inches from the edge of the swamp, they see how close they are to the Arthurians. But the Arthurian troops on that end are not elite, they're just ordinary troops. They're not they've not got shields and things. So the Sea People could have stopped and formed a shield walls, all sorts they might have done, but they've decided, on its early days, they might as well press on. The Sea People, all along the line, passed their activation, until I came to the very last unit of skirmishers in the forest, who needed a 6. They threw a double 1. That frowning face tells me that they are in trouble. So their next move, they have to activate, but a successful activation only removes that face. Having said that, if a different unit from a different army throws a double 1, the dice comes off them and goes on the unit that's just thrown. Wargaming can be a funny old business. I just finished explaining about the frowning face and said if a unit in another army gets a double 1, it gets passed on. What did I throw straight away? A double 1. So that's going to pass on to these fellas. And these are regular archers from the army of the king who controls the village. The archers from the pagans have passed their test. They're going to open fire on the Arthurians as quickly as they can. There's no point waiting. They're allowed to move 3 inches and still shoot. So they move 3. Now, their favoured target would be the Arthurian light infantry or archers, but the problem with that is they are further away than the nearest unit, who are the chaps in the yellow cloaks, who are Arthur's elite. And so if they want to fire at Arthur's elite, because they're the nearest target, they don't have to test. If they want to shoot at something else, then they're going to have to pass, and if they an activation, and if they fail, they aren't going to shoot at all. And at this point, can I apologise? Every time I'm using bows and I say fire, I know they are not firing because they are bows. They're not powder weapons. Just so ignore that. I don't write in Mr. Angry. Grr. So I think rather than risk losing my activation, because I need a 6 to make that decision, I'm going to shoot at the elite, needing 6s. Oh, well, 1. But I've also got 3 1s, and the 3 1s are misfires, snapped bowstrings, too slow reloading next time, whatever. And I show that by putting rings upon them. Now, the hit, the 6 there, now could be saved by the Arthurian who's been hit, and he needs, because he's elite, a 4. No, which means he's been shot. Now I have an option. I could say, no, I don't want to lose him. I'm going to sacrifice Father Christmas instead. Because that's really Father Christmas's job in this game. And I can do that with... and keep the elite intact. Well, I mean, it's probably the most sensible military decision, but I don't want to lose Father Christmas from the Christmas game, so I'm going to take the casualty. Okay, so now I take the casualty, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of those Arthurians left. In Dragon Rampant and Lion Rampant, if you have a unit of 12, as you lose men, you throw dice, you subtract the men you've lost, and so on. I rarely have units of 12. Sometimes I have units bigger than 12 if it's like perhaps goblins. But I base morale on there being 12 as a standard factor, really. And my assumption is that the Arthurian unit would like to be a 12, but it's not. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I'm going to throw 2d6, and I've got to get the number of men I have left, or less. 9. Just made it. If I'd got 10, that would have been trouble because they're right on the edge of the board, and I wouldn't have liked that. So that was their first effort. The pagans have done rather well. First section of the Celts has started to arrive. They've begun harrying the Arthurians over at the top of the picture and are sending their elite troops down the road in the hope, they think at the moment, because they haven't seen the sea people, of pushing the Arthurians back, because again, as far as they know, they heavily outnumber the Arthurian army because it's not deploying. I thought it might be useful to see the entire Arthurian deployment in one shot. I apologise for popping up, get it out again and spoiling it. So the Arthurians, I'm going to start with the elite. And they are going to form a shield wall. So I need 4s. Yep. So they're going to form a shield wall. We've got archery fire coming from there and there. So they're going to form a shield wall there. That's what they do. Gives them a few nice pluses. The medium infantry, who have now seen the elite coming towards them and are not really in a position to do overly much, but somebody has to protect the cart. So I'll say the monks are highly motivated and give them a 5. Yeah. So let's get Boniface and the monks on the move. Oh, he's pulling the cart. Hang on. These chaps who are not pulling carts can do that. And the ones pulling the cart are -4, so they're only going to go 2. Obviously, hit some icy ruts in the road. I've got a scouting party that works on 5s. Yeah, they're going to make a dash because they go 8 for the edge of that wood. Ostensibly, they are checking to see if there's anybody in it. Because if I was playing one of you guys, I wouldn't put it past you to have hidden somebody in there. Medium infantry Romans are going to advance to protect the cart. Needed a 5. Yes, they do. That's a 6. So they're going to put themselves across here. And like a lot of these skirmish light infantry type small games, you don't have your men in organisational clumps, columns and squares. They are just a milling about thing. The Romano-British commander at the back is... I'm going to wait a minute because I'm going to try and hope the next lot of reinforcements arrive. Yes, they do. 5. So let's get these boys on. They're going to arrive there. And he is going to attach himself to them. Don't need to throw because he's a commander. Right, now I'm looking at group of skirmish archers here. My plan would be for them to run to their left. So I need a 6. Yes, I do. They go 8 skirmishers and people like that, which puts them there. And again, they couldn't do that through here because that's a shield wall. This isn't a shield wall. This is just a group of lads wandering about, so they can push through there. I've got 3. Actually, that was silly. I've got 5 there and 3 there. I'm going to move him and put him over here, so I've got 4 and 4. They are going to... Well, they're not even... I don't think they're not even going to move because it's 12 and 24. They're already in short range. So if I get 6, they shoot. Yes, there's 4 of them. And at short range, they need 6s. They always need 6s. It's the, I think, test of honour where it makes a difference when you throw in the sword dice. I've got the wrong game, so scrap all that. I haven't made any terrible mistake, but one of them has had a snappage and one of them shot somebody. So these lads, because they are sixes, need a 6 to save. No, one of these chaps is now shot. Has to test his morale. So he's got 3, 6, 7. Again, they've got to throw 2d6, add them together, they've got to get 7 or less. The idea is, the more casualties you get, the harder it is. You've only got 2 men left, you've got to throw 2d6 and get 2 or less. Oh, it gets quite tricky. They failed. Now, a fail means, initially, they get a green counter. I always use a sort of traffic light system, I always think it has. So, green is, yeah, they're a bit wobbly, they're not happy. Yellow is, wow, didn't like that, and they start to withdraw. Red is, yikes, and they start to run away. So, yellow would make you withdraw, your move, to be honest. But a red makes you move and a half, so they would start to run 9. If they ran 9, that would put them off the table, which would take them out of the game. So that's the first move. So for turn 2, I've thrown the coloured dice to give me initiative, and the initiative has come out Arthurians first, Pagans second, Dark Ages third. At the moment, you can't really tell what's happening. People start to run about. For the Pagans, it's not even clear what the objectives are. They've seen the Arthurians come in, they're not overly happy, and they're shooting at each other, so they know it's not a friendly visit. The typical family Christmas, really. All family turn up and start throwing things at each other. But they don't know they're heading for the Sacred Grove, although they are now seeing the monks with the big cross on a wagon, and that looks to be the way they're going. The sea peoples haven't emerged from the forest yet. So the pagans are focused on Arthur. Now, Arthur has seen the pagans coming. All of the Arthurians moved, and a few more troops arrived. The ones you can see in front of you in red cloaks. There's a left flank appearing now as they try and organise themselves against the sea people, with Boniface, medium infantry, have rushed in to try and protect the wagon against the onrushing pagans. The shield wall stood still. I'm not convinced that's the cleverest idea, but that's what I've done, and I've made the decision now. Perhaps I should have stopped it. I didn't move it because once I move it, it's not a wall, and there's a lot of archers here. So now I'm about to open the shooting phase. So the 4 archers you can see in front of you are shooting at the sea people's elite forces in a shield wall. The way I do that, I throw 4 dice because I've got 4 figures. I've got 1 is a mishap. I've got a 1, which is bad, and then all the rest were misses. Over on the other side, we make the shot, and we have no hits. So there you go. That's the end of Arthur's turn. Moving to the pagans, the first thing I'm going to do is to try and activate the archers with a green counter in front of them and a frowny face. So first job I've got to do, we've got to try and get rid of the frowny face So I've got to get a 6, otherwise that won't come off and they can't do anything. Yeah, so that comes off, that's all right. But that's all they can do this turn. That's part of the penalty for having a frowny face. So that's him. And then going back, I think the infantry, I'm going to try and rush the archers. I need a 5. Yeah? So let's pile in. There we go. And like a lot of these Osprey type games, the moment you make contact, you fight with the whole unit. So you don't have to worry about organising lines. I know purists might not want to do that, but it's the way the game is, and it's nice and simple. So they hit on 4s. They hit on 5s, and they got 4. I save on 6s, and I got none. Kills all 4. Harsh. Now, if I measure from where they came from, yeah, that's pretty much their entire move. Had they moved, say, 2 inches, I'd throw a d6 for how many inches the combat took. And if I'd got, imagine a 3, that'd be 5. That would still leave them 3 inches to try and crash into the next unit. I'm going to move to those archers there now, who need 6s. Yeah, so the archers with blue cloaks are going to be shooting at the Arthurians. There are 2, 4, 6. 2 of them can't shoot because they've got fumble markers on. So it's actually going to be 4 at 6s, 2 hits. Now I can take those off because they've suffered their penalty for not having a turn. And what I do with the 6, it could be 1 man hit twice. So I throw them again. If it's the same, it is. Double 1 means 1 man has been hit twice. And he needs to save on 5s. So he throws 2 dice. And both of those arrows were fatal. Now I do have a standard and I do have a commander. And I've got 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if it's 11 or 12 on the 2d6, it's the commander or the standard bearer. No, it isn't. So it's just some chap. Call it him. 2 hours in him and he's not happy. Do morale. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I've got to get 9 or less on 2d6. Fail. That's horrible. What a dramatic, horrible fail. And because of the double 1, he gets a frowny face. I didn't do it for shooting because I think shooting's different. I'm not a big fan of penalising people for being shot. But they get a green counter. The trouble is that, a bit like the unit on the pagan side, they've got to get rid of the frowny face before they can even tackle the green counter, which is a substantial subtraction. That's quite difficult. Let's look now at the pagan skirmishers. They still haven't seen the sea people because they're not within 3 inches of the end of a wood. They have seen some Arthurian scouts coming through a forest, but they haven't seen the sea people. So they are going to, if they get a 6, they don't do anything. They are going to turn their attention on the chaps who have just taken a bit of a beating from the archers. These are the elite pagan, so they need 4s. Yes, there we go. So they get 4, you move 6, puts them in, they're all in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, needing 4s. Oh, that's 6 hits. Hand-to-hand combat, I don't do the double, I just do that for archery. So I've got all of those now that were hits, needing 5s to save, because these are regular infantry. So I've saved 1. So I've lost 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh dear. So 5, any of those could have been the commander. And there's less than half left. So I think what I'm going to say is I'm going to throw 3 different coloured dice. White, it's a soldier. That doesn't quite work, does it? I was going to say I'll throw them set. No, I suppose I could. I'll do that twice. White, it's a soldier. Red, it's the officer. Green, it's the standard bearer. Red, it's the standard bearer. Now, I could pick the standard up, but I'm not sure I would just at this juncture. So I'll swap that casualty for that one. And then white's just an ordinary soldier. So I've already done that. Now, this is going to harm me a lot because I've now got 4 men. I'm going to throw 2d6. I've got to get 4 or less. I've got a frowny face, which means I've got to get 3 or less. No chance. No chance at all. I'm already on the green. I am now going to go onto a very attractive yellow, and a very attractive yellow means run away, run away. So they run away, an ordinary move. Run away, flee, we're all doomed. Right, oh dear. And take that back and give me a yellow one. Yeah, chaps. Oh, you still take that with them. Poor. So now the Mercian elite are threatening to smash through and destroy the monks. This is going very badly for Arthur, or the Arthurians. Let's just see the heads of that poor Herberts who've just run. Now we are going to move up the slingers, I think. We're on the road. Behind the elite slingers. Yeah, quite happy. Slingers move 8. They're going to come this way because it won't hurt to put a bit of pressure on these elites. Then I've got people defending the village. They are still defending the village. If I go over there, you can see the Celtic forces. They're skirmishers. Move. First infantry move. The second infantry move. The slingers fail. The Celts succeed. So I'll go and do all that movement. To speed things along a little bit, I've gone through the Sea People's forces, all of whom have moved, none of which have affected the game, except the pagans were beginning to think the battle was over against the Arthurians, and I diced, and they were starting to camp or turn towards the village, when suddenly now they've seen the Sea People coming, so they realise they have an issue. The Sea Peoples aren't interested in the sacred grove. The Sea Peoples are going to try and burn the village. But anyway, I digress. I've come back to the elite of the Sea People. The archers in the woods failed again, so they've not gone anywhere. But these chaps are just, I think, looking at the situation for Arthur, they're going to charge. So here we go. They need force. And they've got a 5. So the charge, they're going to hit these poor old archers. And there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them needing force. 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, yeah, it could have been a lot worse. 3. 1. So that's 2 of the archers are dead. Morale check. The morale check's different for the archers because they never have groups of larger than 6 for skirmishers especially. So they don't throw 2d6, they throw 1. And they've got to get 2 or less. 1 or 2. No. So they now go to a green. They will not stand and fight. If you lose a melee there like that, they're off. I'm afraid they are running backwards. There's no point saying they're going to stand in there on the green, because they're not. I suppose you could say, well, if they run, won't the elite kill them? I suppose it depends on how you think the melee looks. I don't like the thought, personally, that the melee is 2 groups of men stood toe-to-toe. The elite win. The archers then stand still and wait for the elite to bash them. But I think it's more fluid than that, more dynamic than that. Everyone's fighting. So if somebody decides to run away, they run away. And yet, so that's what's happened. They've run away. Now, this is looking grim for the Arthurians, to say the least. Definitely, to say the least. Generally, the pagans all along the line have been moving forward. The skirmishers have taken some shots at the Sea People. The pagan scouts have now spotted the Sea People coming through the woods. The big issue, because they went first on initiative, they have charged Boniface's monks, who have no protection. The Arthurians are throwing everything at it. Their commander, mounted commander, the clerical figure that allows you to make a sacrifice of that figure's thrown himself in there. It's going to be nasty, I suspect. But there's 3, 6, 8 of the pagans. 2, 4, 6, 8 pagans hitting on 4s. Goodness me. 7. I mean, that's nuts. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my word. So, pick the bones out of that. Well, they have to save on 6s. First of all, let's do that first. See what the situation actually is. They have to save on 6s. Not a single one. And there are 2, 4, 6, 7 of them. Goodness me. Right, well, I'm not even going to test to see if it's Boniface, because I'm going to use the option of removing Father Christmas to keep Boniface alive. And I'm going to bring Boniface back there, and I'm going to put that spare monk there. That's actually, I think Dragon Rampant do something very similar to that. So that's the first job. They've all taken hits. In fact, they're all dead, aren't they? 2, 4, 6, 7 of them, all dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I've now made a gamble here that it can't be Boniface. Oh dear. Oh, I've got a commander and I've got a standard bearer, neither of which I really want to lose, but it's going to have to be one of them. Okay, I'm not throwing dice. I'm going to tell a story, because this is how my campaigns run, and you might as well see. And you might think, what's he doing? That's not right. But hey, I'm not bothered. So in my story, what happens is the Arthurian knight takes the standard from the standard bearer and rides back here. The standard bearer is the man that dies, and he is then hacked to pieces heroically, making therefore an end worthy of song. Oh my goodness me. And that's only the first pagan action. I have just been rent asunder. Other pagan attacks weren't as effective. The next big problem is there for the Arthurians, because the sea people go next. They need a fort. Got a fort. So again, here they come. Crunch. Now, the numbers are more equal. There are 12 sea people. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 sea people, leading 4s. Let's get rid of the ones that are not 4s. So now I save on 5s. Take out the 5, 2, 4, 5. Drat. So morale, I've got to throw 2. I've got to get 5 or less, but I do have a commander in there, so that's going to make it 6 or less. No, that's 8, so that's a fail. First fail. Because there's such a lot of them. Well, actually, there's not as many of them as there's not as many now as there was a while ago. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, it's looking grim, to be honest. Isn't it? I suspect extracting them is the best idea, but if they stay there, they're going to get wiped out, and if they get extracted, they're not going to be able to protect anybody. Okay, let's go for an activation. I need to get 5s on 2d6. Yeah, so I can do something, and the something I'm going to do is simply that I'm trying to protect the Arthurian knight and the standard. The sea people's only travelled 2, so they've got another 4. And they've done their activation. It's the same unit they're attacking. If they were attacking a different unit, they'd have to do a different activation because it's a change of idea. And again, there's still 12 of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. They're still attacking on 4s. No, 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 no. A lot. 2, 4, 6. I'm saving on 5s. 2, 4. I've got 4 casualties. I'm on green, so that makes morale 1 worse. So I would have to get 3 or less, but I have a commander. 4 or less. And I have a senior commander right behind him, 5 or less. 4. That's all right. Oh my word. So the Arthurians have lost the Stone Cross, I think. They've got 1 unit that just can't do anything on yellow. They've got an elite unit which is dithering about. They've got a unit trying to protect the general. The elite unit are stuck and getting battered from all ends. It's looking so grim. So I suspect probably their best option is, assuming they activate, is to withdraw. Let's give that a go. 4, they're going to leave the table in ignominy, shame. And these chaps, they have to get a 5 to get the frowny face off 5. So all they can do is take the frowny face off. They can't escape. The archers need a 6. Yep. And they are going 8. That puts him there. Takes him off. Boniface and the general, well, actually they could just go, because Boniface just gets told by the general, leg it. He nearly had his martyrdom about 6 years too early. And those lads are in combat, so they've got to fight. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. They need 5s, become 6s because of the green counter. Oh, you know, look at that. They've toughened themselves up. 4 6s. they save on 4s. Only save 1. Wow. 3 casualties. So there's 3 casualties on there. Oh, it could be, let's say there's 6 men, 2, 4, 5, 6. The red is the standard bearer, the white is the commander. No, it's just a man. Same again. No, that's higher. That's a man. And then the final one, that is an officer figure. I'm going to make it him. They've lost 3. You've got to get 9 or less. They're fine. They're fine, but that was a good effort by the crumbling Arthurian troops. A little bit of something to tell the moms about. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So my plan was to have a 3-way game, but mainly because the Arthurians didn't come on in the right numbers. They only came on in sporadic dribs and drabs, and everybody managed to gang up on them and also develop their own positions. And the Arthurians have had a really bad day. They've lost a blessed cross. They've had an entire group of monastic people wiped out. Barely saved the life of St. Boniface. Generals barely escaped with their lives. Units been defeated all over. It's an absolute ignominy of a game. It's awful. The Arthurians are going to run. They're going to pull away. They can't do anything. Mission failed. Arthurians have lost. But the sea people and the pagans have now got a straight battle. The sea people are here for loot, treasure, slaves, and they're going to try and burn the village. So now I've now got myself a next battle, which I wasn't expecting, which will be a totally different battle to anything I might have planned because of the way this situation developed. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're having a good Christmas. Ta-da, Chuck!